But heading into game number 2, SoaR really needs to find a way to change their compositions, because that all-in strategy with the ultimate, it was working at first, but it just couldn't transition in the mid to late game.
Once teams hit level 12 and pick up 2 relics, it becomes much harder to wombo combo them, because you don't only have to force a purification, you also have to worry about the sanctuaries, the meditations, the phantoms, things of that nature. And again, a game that SoaR had by the throat slips away, and Aware secure their spot at LAN.
Ratatask are being banned from SoaR. Maybe this time around, they're going to be the ones to trying to look for that Thor pick. Susanoo being taken away. A lot of jungle target bans between these two teams, even in the first game.
Yeah, and we saw both junglers had great games overall. We saw Chapo make a ton of plays on that Hunbats. Just wasn't able to find the plays in the late game. But a lot of that, again, came down to the team composition. There were no beads burners on that team outside of Hunbat. So if you don't have someone forcing purification, it's difficult for your Fear No Evil to get value.
He was being so aggressive the whole game. Even though his team was behind at the later stages, he was still trying to go into that backline, and I love that mentality and style out of Chapo. He just has no fear, and I expect him to honestly play almost anything at this point.
The Thor is open. We saw KhaoticPurpose not have the greatest early game on it, but came up and made big plays in the late game. But instead, Terra going to be locked in, and we've seen Uzzy play this before in the solo lane. I wouldn't be surprised if that were where it was going here.
The name of the game is Sustain for SoaR. Finding the Terra first pick. I love the style. They left Thor open, but Aware, they don't really care about it. They're the ones that are going to take those 2 big ultimates this time around.
I expect to see Chapo pick up Thor here, especially after there's such a big play from Chaotic last game, and there it is. He wants to show him who the true Thor is in the SCL, wants to show off his skills as well, and can definitely start to snowball the game if he can get ahead early. He was ahead early on Hunbats, didn't end up working out, but Thor's a god that it's a little bit easier to snowball a game with.
And not only that, it's easier to set up your mid laner anytime you really want between your ultimate and your Tectonic Rift. Soul being picked from SoaR as well. This could be a flex pick. It could go in the way of mid or the Hunter. Which one do you expect out of SoaR?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see StormyRays play it. He clearly is comfortable on these magical ADCs, though that Freya game in the last set probably wasn't exactly what he was looking for, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it go to Shaliber either. I mean, his god pool is still a little bit unknown, still new to the console scene, so it's interesting to see. All I know is that if he does get to play Soul in the middle lane, I'm going to be jealous, because Chapo never let me play Soul in mid. I always wanted to, but he said it was bad.
Maybe he's like, you should have stayed.
He's like
a little
rubbing
tease.
it in a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
He knew that you were going to be casting this as, hey, look, Shaliber's playing Soul.
Yeah, we'll so aggro that you can play Soul and he couldn't. It only took me a year to get him to let me play Giannis, and then it was, hey, you know, what'd be good here, Giannis.
You guys had a fantastic Giannis style, like because of the aggression that you guys always had every single game. I'm assuming like it's just Chapo and Brochacho be like, all right, we can always fight, and then you were probably like,
all right.
Well, I guess I got Giannis
I can be there, man, if you want me to be. I know, I was like, yo, I can bail you out with my ult. And they're like, nah, we want Poseidon and Zeus instead. Whatever, man. I had fun with those anyways. 2 target bans on the Brochacho with the Ymir and the Ares. 2 off-meta picks. You don't see a whole lot of either of those gods, at least here in North America, but Brochacho loves both of those.
It makes sense for the Ymir ban, because you don't want to have your Nemesis or Vulcan walled off in an awkward positioning, and that's going to allow SoaR to really take advantage of that. So it's going to be the Chronos locked in for Aware, trying to match the magical Hunter coming out of Soul.
And that's going to be going over to Cameron in that duo lane. And we mentioned that Ram didn't really feel like his style. Well, he showed us that is his style with the Gold Fury Steel, putting out the damage in the late game. I think only had 1 death the entire time, looking very strong. Robin and Habwa going to finish off the draft for SoaR, so that Soul is going to be going to the duo lane. We're not going to see Habwa Hunter like we did earlier today. That's Transonics and stuff. That's like Transonics and Paul stuff.
Yeah,
they don't,
more than likely not going to see that out of StormyRays this time around. It's going to be that Soul Terra combination, which has really good setup. You're going to find the root, the stun coming out of Terra, and those in-hands out of Soul, even if it's like level 1 through 4, if you find yourself with 100% heat, you're going to take out this Chronos.
So if you're in the solo lane, you're assuming that you're going up against, you're up against Robin here. You've got Odin or Xing Chen. Who would you rather have?
As a Robin, I would rather face the Xing, honestly. Any Guardian, honestly, I would rather face as a warrior because you can out-pressure them in the early game and then look for their blue buff invade later on. The Odin, we saw the plays from Uzzy playing the Odin last game. He found the first blood.
So this time, not a lot of CC on the side of Aware. You see that it's really only the stun coming out of Chronos, the ultimate and knock-up out of Xing, and the slows and stuff from Nemesis overall and Odin. Not a whole lot of CC on their side, whereas SoaR has a lot of CC overall.
We didn't talk about this, but Shaliber playing the Hobwalk here is a great counter pick against the Nemesis. You drop that carpet, you negate the slow effect from her ultimate, and now that means you don't have to build into the Wingblade.
That's true. Definitely, once that water carpet got buffed to completely immune slows, it definitely does give Hobwalk a little bit of an edge up against Nemesis, as well as the fact that he can get rid of that Retribution shield using the knockup. Hard CC removes that shield immediately from Nemesis, so he'll be able to make sure that he isn't getting return damage. He just has to be worried about using Crushing Wave with it up because he'll just eat a lot of his own damage.
SoaR are this time around playing the Thor and the Ravana, and because they knew how strong it was at level 1, they're the ones that are going to look for an invade. They have the Wrath onto Uzzy. Can they find the speed?
But Xing has the Wrath as well. It's going to be a Wrath battle. Who's going to be able to get the speed? Chapo willing to zone out Nemesis, and it is going to be DoctorL who gets the Wrath off. Actually, Uzzy didn't even try. They're willing to let them have it and go for the speed.
He got stunned out at the same time, and that was a great effect. And because of that, now it's going to be SoaR finding the blue buff for themselves, and that's going to hurt DoctorL a lot, not being able to secure his own blue buff.
That's a win for SoaR overall, right? You'd rather let Nemesis have the speed than let Xing have the blue.
Absolutely. Now as a result, Chapo is going to stick around in the solo lane, sharing the experience, which will give DoctorL level 5 first. But as a Guardian player, you're always getting pressured onto your tower. Now the fact that you don't have the blue buff for the sustain and the laning phase is going to allow Uzzy to just be even more obnoxious.
The problem here for SoaR is that they're going to give up both sets of mid harpies here, losing pressure in the middle lane heavily, but they probably were going to have to lose pressure anyways, just due to the lack of push power from Hobla in the middle lane. Instead of contesting these left side mid harpies, you'll probably see SoaR head towards their speed and blue buff, making sure they get that golden experience.
That's exactly what they have to do. Whenever you find the invade, you can't be everywhere at once. You have to pick and choose, pick your poisons. They're going to have the advantage in the solo lane off of their strategy now as a result. But now Brochacho, he's trying to do a lot of poke. Look at the heat damage.
Nice double stun coming out. StormyRays taking a little bit of poke as well, but willing to trade it out. You see that Chronos actually went for the Soul Stone. You don't see that a whole lot. That extra 100 health and regen potential could have done him a lot of good, while Soul doesn't have to worry about that as much because of her first ability, Radiance, allowing her to heal up.
And not only that, Desaprate's a better lifesaver in the solo lane. DoctorL almost getting first blooded yet again. Uzzy just applying the right amount of pressure, and I like the fact that he didn't try to dive that tower. Cameron, though, he's going to get stunned. He's going to get rooted out, forced into the purification. He's low, going to find the meditation.
Forces out the Sanctuary from StormyRays, and the Desaparate is well-timed, immuning the damage there from Kenshin. Both relic traded out for the Hunters. Who does that favor, trading out the Sanctuary for the Purification?
I would absolutely say that it favors the Soul. He's going to be able to really find the sustain between the Monolith from Brochacho as well as his own first ability, finding the HP 5. StormyRays coming out on top, as well as the Phantom coming out of Brochacho. If StormyRays gets caught in that, it's going to be an easy escape.
I like the Phantom pickup here. A lot of supports like to go Shell, but instead electing to make sure he and his team won't get caught in that cage, and caught in the root is Cameron. Brochacho might solo him here. He does. First blood, all because of Brochacho. The Terra gets the kill.
And I like the fact that he took the kill. He had to take the kill because StormyRays was just too far behind. We saw Kenshin doing a great job zoning. Despite being a Guardian, he's playing the Odin, so that's a great amount of pressure. It just clears the wave completely, though. Chapo, he's going to the sky, but he's not going to find anybody.
Chapo likes to do this a lot. Actually going to find Nemesis in the jungle, just stopping that back and being as annoying as possible, basically, delaying the back there from Nemesis. And Chapo likes to do that. He predicts where you're going to be and tries to preemptively use the ultimate. Sometimes it works great. Sometimes, like there, it just kind of gets wasted.
I really like the fact that he didn't commit every single ability onto the Nemesis, because if he landed, found the hammer, stun, Berserker Barrage, then he wouldn't be able to stop the Nemesis shield, and that would have been completely in KhaoticPurpose's favor. And then the counter engage without having your ultimate or your hammer to escape. Here comes the Nemesis ult.
Look at what stopping that back does. It opens up both of these buffs. DoctorL using the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel to try and confirm his own blue. It looks like he was able to pick that up using the CC to his advantage to make sure he had the Wrath over top of Uzzy. But SoaRchapo stopping that back isn't just being annoying like we initially thought. It's keeping Nemesis there, keeping her low enough that she doesn't want to contest both of the right side buffs. SoaR almost got both, only ended up walking away with a speed buff, but still a really, really smart play from Chapo.
That's a huge play because denying a speed buff from a Nemesis, trying to find the mobility, trying to apply the right amount of pressure in either side lane is the key to that kind of a stylistic pick from an assassin in the jungle role. Now it's going to be KhaoticPurpose, going to be trailing behind Chapo just ever so slightly.
Uzzy's in a little bit of trouble here, taking a lot of damage from minions in that engagement. Still has not backed at all so far this game, sitting at 4.5 minutes, but Chapo's here to support him. He's going to be looking at the solo lane, looking for DoctorL. Lands down, misses the ult. Just going to wait for the wall. The root is good to make sure that DoctorL is stuck in place for a little bit, but nothing else is used. There's the hammer to just help clear the wave, but they wanted to get out because Shalibur was hitting Dove on the speed buff.
Whenever you have the jungler gank your solo lane, that means your mid lane is exposed. Aware doing a great job taking advantage of Shalibur. Now it's Aware trying to strip the speed buff away from Chapo. KhaoticPurpose picks it up this time around. Odin gonna dunk down, it's doing so much damage, but the Sanctuary keeping him alive. KhaoticPurpose finds the last hit.
It had to be, you had to use the Sanctuary there on the Bird Bomb if you were gonna use it. Now Brochacho, luckily for him, it's not gonna be the rotation coming out of the solo, but it is enough for Boronic to get the kill, force the purification out, but it's a free kill for Boronic.
And Aware, they capitalize off of these kills because not only do they take the speed, they're about to take the blue buff away. DoctorL, he found his own blue buff and stripping it away from Uzzy. So overall, Aware are doing a good job coming back into the game despite losing their blue buff earlier on.
So SoaR in this game, they're sitting at 9 points overall on the season, looking up, look on the outside, looking into the LAN, sitting in 5th place. It's Elevate that they're looking at. SoaR Elevate has another game today. They're going up against Eager, and then comes at the end of the day the big showdown, SoaR versus Elevate. But if SoaR drop this game, they need that. Then Elevate controls their own destiny. If they 2-0 Eager or are able to win against SoaR at all, that makes sure that Elevate would qualify. Whereas SoaR would need to 2-0. If they're to lose this game, they need Elevate to only split or lose both games against Eager, and then they need to 2-0 Elevate at the last set of today.
SoaR need a little bit of luck if they lose this one, like you mentioned. So they have to play lights out. They have to make the plays together, and that's why you pick up this Thor to make the plays. And Chapo is known for trying to make the plays, but it's going to be the Kenshin jumping in, trapping in Shalibur. The Vulcan ultimate going to get negated by the Hobwalk crushing water.
Perfect timing, but still not enough. Boronic's going to get the last hit on him. Uzzy's here to try and make the rotation, but just can't do anything about it. Chapo pretty far behind right now in the jungle, down 2 levels and 800 gold, as well as in the mid lane. They're down 2 levels there as well. The experience difference from Aware is getting bigger.
The problem is that the Thor, it's still pretty decent to play from behind. You can still set up your mid laner anytime you really want. Nemesis needs to be ahead, so they're going to be still trying to make these kinds of plays happen. Kenshin trying to zone out StormyRays, but Aware, they don't really want to start the Gold Fury quite yet. They'd rather keep looking for picks.
Still looking for the bait. No teleport on either solo laner, remember that. So they're here for the fight, and they're going to be here for a while. Now Uzzy walking in, taking a good amount of poke from DoctorL. DoctorL's going in, looking for the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, forces out the purification, but a big dunk from Chapo on the back end. The Soul Ultimate's coming in. Shalibur gets the first kill of the fight. Boronic's the first to fall.
Uzzy's going to take victim as well, as we see a 2-for-1 trade. SoaR continuing the rampage. They're using the carpets to get a little bit closer, but KhaoticPurpose barely able to escape. The Stellar Burst is good. The Nemesis shield was not up.
StormyRays looking great right now. 3-man cage is going to spell trouble for SoaR, but it's Kenshin who's in trouble. Barely able to get away. Cameron doing as much as he can, but he's just a level 9 Chronos. Now in a terrible spot. Gonna fall to Shalibur.
4-for-1. SoaR are doing a great job sticking together. This is what they needed to do in the first game at every stage, but now finding these 4 picks, they're going to be able to try to put pressure on this tier 1 mid tower. They have a lot of damage with StormyRays on this heat.
Huge dunk there from Chapo. Starts that fight off into SoaR's favor, and then StormyRays does a great job throughout that entire engagement of following up on the damage off the CC. A big supernova coming down, as well as the Stellar Burst able to pick up KhaoticPurpose on the back end of that team fight, and that puts SoaR right back into the lead. But Aware doesn't want to give it up. They're going to pull the Gold Fury. Everyone from SoaR is low. They're all backing. It's only Brochacho here to stop it, except Uzzy making the rotation in, has the Wrath available, but it's getting very low. Chapo. Here's the ultimate from Vulcan, gonna confirm the Gold Fury, and that puts SoaR back in the lead.
The problem was the respawn timers were too short for SoaR, and because SoaR tried to get that tier 1 mid tower for so long, they just wasted too much time that allowed SoaR to come back into it. SoaR were just too low to really contest the Gold Fury, and now as a result, we see that spike dip down from the tier 1 tower and then back up off of the Gold Fury.
So we see this Celestial Legion helm picked up by StormyRays, and this is a build that Barracuda is a big fan of. However, he usually only does it up against physical hunters. That item's giving you 60 magical protection, or 60 magical power, excuse me, as well as 90 physical protection. Do you like this pickup here for StormyRays?
I do, because even though he's not against a physical hunter, he's also against Odin in the Guardian role, so that's a lot of damage coming out of him. We see how much damage he's able to do to the wave with his bird bomb. Whenever he kept pushing up to the wave, it was StormyRays getting completely blown up, so he'll be able to survive against initiation from KhaoticPurpose and Kenshin.
So to pull a page out of Hindu Man's book and play a little bit of devil's advocate, isn't building physical protection against the Nemesis kind of not worth it? You're only giving her extra physical procs whenever she ults you?
That's true, but at the same time, once that fades away, you're going to be able to survive those in hand. So it's like a win-loss situation from the initial purpose or KhaoticPurpose getting off that ultimate, but at the same time, if you're looking for health, I would rather see the Warlock Sash.
The stun into the knockup is good, and you can see the potential already coming out of that combination as this game gets later and later. That knockup into water spout combination is going to spell a lot of trouble for SoaR. Uzzy pressuring DoctorL on this right-hand side, forcing him to back, and he still doesn't have that teleport, so all this time that's being wasted by Uzzy on the DoctorL is definitely a big boon for them.
With the wave coming back up, and now it's going to be an engage. A nice little knockup, trapping in one member. The Vulcan ultimate gonna fill it up. A nice little jump in a disengage, but KhaoticPurpose, he's dashing away. Chapo's in the sky. He's trying to find Boronic.
He's looking for him. 1 HP in the jungle, just off the mark. The meatball's good to give him some space, but Shalibur's still on the chase. Here comes the spin to win any second now. There it is. Shalibur gets it with the in-hand, but the bird bomb is perfectly stunned away. Keeps Shalibur alive, and an unbelievable play from Chapo.
Chapo saving his teammates' life, and look at the tier 1 right-hand side, how low DoctorL is. Not going to be able to really dive that, but Uzzy, he's caught in an awkward position between the tier 1 and tier 2. His ultimate was up, but he couldn't jump over that blue buff.
Okay, so run us through that interaction for those of the viewers who don't know at home. Why didn't that bird bomb do damage there?
So every time that you can realistically stun out an Odin during a jump, any jump really, even on her specifically, there's a small frame interval where if you get hard CC'd, the jump does no damage.
Okay, so because the jump does no damage and it also hits the shield does no, because the shield explodes on impact on the ground and there is no impact because of the hard CC, the shield is completely negated as well. But it's like you mentioned, it is a very, very tight frame window.
And that was perfectly executed from Chapo, and as a result, SoaR walk away with a nice little win, being able to save Shalibur. Now, they did lose their Robin player in the soul lane, but they still did a good job being able to take out Boronic earlier on.
Free Sanctuary Force there just because of Boronic's positioning was not where you need to be. Whenever you've got no tier 1 tower in the middle lane and you're playing Vulcan, you should not be there by the mid camps without any sort of support. Instead, Boronic is and loses a very important cooldown. He's now vulnerable to that crushing wave for the next 2 minutes.
DoctorL, he's trying to make a play around the speed, but finding a nice double root into the bird bomb. Vulcan ultimate from a distance, not able to find it, but now no possible way to escape is Shalibur.
Shalibur trades out though, gets DoctorL with the kill. Backfire's good, but so is the dunk in from Chapo. Hits 2. Purification and Sanctuary used by Nemesis. Try and get out, but here's the rotation. StormyRays has a ton of damage with the ultimate. Picks up the kill onto Boronic, and it's going to be Odin running for his life.
2 for 1 SoaR. They still want to play aggressive. They have the movement speed from Brochacho's ultimate. They're the ones that could look for a speed buff invade of their own, but because of how long they've been chasing on the left-hand side, Cameron was able to get that tier 1 tower.
Now KhaoticPurpose knows the hammer's down, gonna go aggressively on Chapo here. Sanctuary burned, and StormyRays is here to support. Kenshin wants to go in and get the kill, but Chapo's backing right there. He could get killed by Slice and Dice. Instead, is just trying to bait KhaoticPurpose in. The heal is good off the shield, as well as the meditation. KhaoticPurpose throws a couple XYs, as we call them on console. That's how you taunt. You press the right D-pad and then X and Y.
Not able to find the hammer, unfortunately. It's Chapo losing his life. He thought he could stick around trying to complement StormyRays' plays, but but because of how long they wasted, it was CaMeRxN that was able to get the tier 1 tower and a lot of gold and experience. Now this Chronos player able to really run away with this one.
But now StormyRays does put a little bit of damage onto him. No mana available to CaMeRxN, so he's going to have to back. And with Gold Fury coming up, this does open up the window for SoaR. In fact, even Kenshin is backing, it looks like. They're leaving just Boronic to try and defend. He doesn't even have his ultimate. This is, I can't believe Kenshin is backed.
But it's going to seem like SoaR does want to start the Gold Fury at the 14-minute mark. Boronic just now getting his ultimate, so it's going to be a nice timing window. They have SoaR have to secure this one.
DoctorL coming in, has the Wrath available. It goes the way of Aware, I believe. Actually, SoaR, no, is the one to take it. Now Shaliber takes DoctorL down as well. Boronic's going to be the next target. Chapo kills him. ChaoticPurpose in the backside picks up Rochacho. A big cage coming in from Kenshin. ChaoticPurpose with the double kill. It's just StormyRays, Chapo, and Uzzy left to defend. StormyRays in trouble from ChaoticPurpose. Hits the ultimate, knock up, heals for him a little bit, and Uzzy's just trying to get his teammates out.
Chapo in mid lane. He needs to find a nice wall to stop it, and he does. ChaoticPurpose cannot chase past that wall. StormyRays still lives to fight another day. 2 for 2 overall, but SoaR secured themselves the Gold Fury despite Boronic's ultimate being on point.
The Boronic ultimate, the Wrath, looks like it was not used there from DoctorL, wasn't off cooldown, and so they are able to secure that, and that's a big win for them because otherwise that would have put Aware heavily into the lead. Instead, a risky call pays off for SoaR, continues to push the lead, only about 1,000 gold at this stage in the game, but the experience is about even as well. I mean, only 600 in favor of Aware, and almost all of that is on the ChaoticPurpose in the jungle.
It's still in the mid game though. It's 15 minutes and this golden experience lead really mean nothing. It's all about the next team fight and what the objectives occur after that, because the respawn timers are starting to really start getting high up there. So these plays that SoaR have been making, they need to continue it on, because it was the same style of the game when SoaR had the Vulcan and the Odin. They needed to look for those ultimate plays, but Aware, they haven't been able to find them either.
Aware, DoctorL is going to find a double tap in the solo lane. And talking about ChaoticPurpose coming back to this team, oh, hold that thought. Uzzy in a ton of trouble on this right-hand side, all by himself. Chapo forced it back. Uzzy taking a lot of damage. There's the ultimate out of him. No Nemesis ultimate there. Very surprising. Chapo's back, landing down with the ult, trying to do anything he can, but it's going to be Shaliber picking up Boronic, surprisingly. Uzzy's still alive. Now DoctorL, CC chain forever. Shaliber, he's 1 HP. Uzzy kicks him off with the overhead kick, and ChaoticPurpose is the target.
But now ChaoticPurpose running away the trap from the Odin cage, trying to maybe find Shaliber. They already lost 2 members. They need to respond with at least one. A nice little phantom keeping Shaliber away from the cage. But look at this left-hand side. It's going to be a 1-on-2. Chronos trying to find the rewind. Doesn't find it.
Not in time. Shaliber still juking on the right-hand side. Finally, the 8th kill for Nemesis already, and they're still going. 9 on the board for ChaoticPurpose, and he's slowing down Brochacho, still trying to get the kill. This could be a triple here for Nemesis. Double stun, gonna buy Brochacho a little bit of time, but no one's coming to his rescue.
ChaoticPurpose coming back into Aware, have been making such a big impact, finding his 10th kill of the game. Welcome back, Layers.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of talk about, are they gonna even improve with this pickup? The attitude very much so in question for ChaoticPurpose, and if you follow along to his Twitter, I can absolutely understand those question marks, but there's no question marks about him in the game. 10, 1, and 2 right now, sitting at level 17, 3 levels up on Chapo.
No questions at all. Finishing off the Hydra's Lament into the Jotun's, probably going to go into the Void Shield now, trying to survive against Chapo's initiation. And that last team fight on the right-hand side, Chapo, he just wasn't quite on the mark with that ultimate, but still trying to dive in the tier 2 tower. It's going to be DoctorL forcing out the Purification.
Forcing out the Purification, but taking a lot of damage in return, but StormyRays is also taking a lot of damage. Shaliber goes way too deep, but hits 2 with the Crushing Wave, immunes the ultimate as well. Uzzy's coming in, trying to trade out for DoctorL. The meatball's going to be good, but the chase is on for SoaR.
1 for 1. SoaR continue the pressure, forcing out the Sanctuary from Boronic. Uzzy's going to be able to find the slow. Chapo's going to back off for a little bit. They need to trade off the mid laners. They're trying to get it. The root is good. They find Boronic finally.
Shout out to Terra's blessing for the speed boost there. Now CaMeRxN forced to rewind, but he's still right in the thick of the fight. StormyRays is going to miss Stellar Burst thanks to the acceleration. Takes a lot of damage in return, actually, but CaMeRxN looks like he's going to be able to get out. Nemesis is back in the middle lane, picks up Chapo, who looks to have been lazy backing there.
Unfortunately, Chapo sacrificing his life for the greater good of the item shop. Not really something you want to do, and now CaMeRxN with his accelerate is going to be able to find the stun, but Uzzy doing a good job overhead kicking with the mix. It's going to be Kenshin Kenshin and KhaoticPurpose. These three-man grouping up with DoctorL on the left-hand side, finding the flank under the tier 1 mid tower. This should go into Ware's favor here.
But he misses the Furious Roar, and Uzzy's going to be the target, but it misses it gets the overhead kick. Now it's DoctorL stuck under the tower thanks to the root, but it's Ware getting the tier 1 tower in middle for free. Both of these solo laners are nowhere near the farm that you expect when you pick two solo laners. I mean, you're supposed to stay in lane and get a bunch of farm, but it's really been, I mean, look at DoctorL. He's level 14 right now. He's got the lowest gold on his team.
That's not something you want to do as a Guardian coming out of the solo lane. He's been struggling a lot, just barely able to hit 8,000 gold. He's 1,200 gold behind his opposition from Uzzy. So he's been doing a good job shutting down DoctorL, and that's what you really have to do against a Guardian. You don't want to let him get into the mid game with all the crowd control that he has.
The only problem has been KhaoticPurpose, 11-1 right now. Problems for Kenshin as well, taking a lot of poke damage. Still has a jump available. Here comes Nemesis coming in with that ultimate, doing so much damage. Shalaber's already dead, stunned out. Here comes the ultimate from Vulcan, gonna be on the mark, hits 3. This washing machine throws BroChacho back, stuck in the cage. He's gonna fall. Nemesis gets his 13th kill. DoctorL gonna pick up StormyRays as well, and it's all falling apart for SoaR.
Uzzy has nowhere to go except over the red buff. Gonna get chased down by Kenshin. DoctorL wants to kill as well, but the rest of his team wants to go Fury instead. Doing a great job is KhaoticPurpose, making his name back into the SEL. Even gonna force out the ultimate from Chapo.
Chapo just got there, man. He just TP'd in. It should be Aware holding DPS here, basically. No reason to give Chapo a chance to steal, but instead, they don't do quite enough damage to give Chapo the opportunity. Chapo forced to retreat into the middle lane, and these team fights have been all Nemesis right now. It's all been KhaoticPurpose sitting top of the damage charts, but that time it was Boronic with a huge Vulcan ultimate that hit 3.
And that's what we saw out of KhaoticPurpose. He actually rode the wave of the Hobwop being played by Shalaber. The defensive ulti came out, but it didn't matter. KhaoticPurpose was like, okay, I'm just going to double dash and chase you down, finding that last hit in hand. And because they take out the mage so early in that team fight, the rest of it is just so easy for Aware. Their magical defense, they don't have to worry about this late game damage from Hobwop.
So what do you do differently if you're SoaR? How do you deal with this fed Nemesis?
At this point, you just have to stay grouped. You cannot let anyone get isolated. But at the same time, you have to respect the fact that there's an Odin and a Vulcan. So you have to look for the wards and then maybe catch out the Nemesis just like that, at least poking her out a little bit.
Tons of poke there. We saw it earlier, and I mentioned it, the combo potential between the wall double tap and the knockup from Shalaber. And there, Shalaber may have had the ult there. That would have been a kill if he would have full committed, I think.
Absolutely, probably could have, but the Nemesis shield was available. If he wanted to chase it, he would have to sacrifice his life at that point. But at this point, trading a level 16 Hobwall for a level 19 Nemesis probably would go into SoaR's favor. But on the right-hand side, Terra ultimate being used for the mobility, trying to lock down DoctorL.
Everyone's chasing him, but here comes Kenshin over the top, and Nemesis is coming around the back. They have to be worried about that. Ultimate comes out onto StormyRays, taking 3/4 of his HP from that. Here comes the Vulcan ultimate as well. Just gonna miss 4. Great job spreading out, but they gotta help out Uzzy. Big stun into the big knockup. Uzzy's getting low. Everyone on SoaR on the retreat. Ultimate from Kenshin is good. It's trapping Shalaber. Uzzy goes for a ride. No, that's BroChacho going for the ride. No one's dying yet. Finally, BroChacho falls, but they pick up Nemesis finally.
3 members dying so quickly from SoaR. They're able to respond with 2 of their own, though. Uzzy trying to get sustained off, but you have to be careful because the Boronic damage and Cameron, this late game magical damage duo, is going to be able to melt you completely. SoaR, they have to run away, and they're going to lose their tier 1 tower as a result.
They're probably going to lose a tier 2 as well. Just so much damage coming out from Chronos. Has that Obsidian Shard online, and hey, he built Pythag's piece. He's listening. That's a good buy with the Vulcan. Uzzy's gonna teleport in, trying to defend this tier 2 tower, doing a lot of damage, but taking way more in return. Uzzy, hello? Where did he go? DoctorL gets the kill. Now 3, 5, and 8. DoctorL was level 14 not too long ago. All of a sudden, he's level 18, and Aware continues to win the game.
Absolutely just melted. Having the Pestilence for his magical defense, I would have liked to see a Bulwark of Hope, honestly. The sustain coming out of Aware is just not really worth going Pestilence here. There's a little bit of self-sustain coming out of DoctorL. You have the meditation onto Kenshin, but it's just not worth it. That shield bubble would have definitely kept him alive if he went for the Bulwark.
Also, a runic shield would be a big pickup here, reducing the magical damage from both Boronic and CaMeRxN and DoctorL, as well as the attack speed from everyone on the team. It would be useful against the Nemesis. particularly useful against Chronos as well. Definitely would have liked to see a Runic Shield coming out. Now DoctorL caught out a little bit on these left-hand mid-harpies, deleted by the crushing wave. SoaR picks up his 8th kill, sitting at 8 and 6. He's been a part of a lot of action.
14 kills he's been a part of out of the 18, so doing a great job sticking together is SoaR. They need to keep relying on their positioning, being able to hammer through the wall and stunning out CaMeRxN, forcing out the purification, but Chapo going in the sky. He really wants to lock down, but the rewind is good.
But he's just waiting for the rewind to come back so he could land down. There it is, hits 2. CaMeRxN in a ton of trouble, gets deleted by Chapo. The Vulcan ult's gonna be good, kills SoaR instantly. Big 3-man knockup, KhaoticPurpose doing all the damage that he can. Stormy and Chapo are both gonna fall. 2 autos, 2 kills for Nemesis. That's 15 for him. Triple kill for KhaoticPurpose. He's now at 16 kills.
That was an MVP ultimate coming out of Boronic, not only able to delete SoaR, but it hit StormyRays in the process, and that's why SoaR was able to just clean up so easily off of that. Now Uzzy still getting chased down under this tier 2 tower. KhaoticPurpose, he really wants that 17th kill.
Going for the delayed Quadra overhead kick and a buy Uzzy a little bit of time, but he was looking to trade out there, but it is the 4th kill in that fight for this Nemesis. Now 17, 2, and 8, but still not on top of the damage charts. Boronic really been kind of the unsung hero of this game. 2 huge ultimates in a couple of late game team fights and really setting up to allow Nem to clean up.
24-minute deicide coming out of SoaR. They're able to strip away that tier 2 tower. Unfortunately for them, the gold fear is not up quite yet, so the respawn from SoaR should be able to contest it. Now looking at the gold disparity right now, SoaR, they're down about 8,000 gold at this point. It's not something that they really can't come back from, but at the same time, they cannot get Vulcan ultimate like that again.
The problem is that there's no sanctuary on SoaR. If that ultimate comes in on him, there's nowhere for him to go, like we saw in that last team fight. And even more importantly than the 8,000, soon to be about 10,000 gold lead for SoaR, is the fact that you see multiple level 20s on the side of SoaR. You see Boronic, KhaoticPurpose, CaMeRxN, all level 20, DoctorL level 19 right now, whereas SoaR has 0 level 20s on their teams. That experience difference still making a difference even at 25 minutes into this game.
And this is the point where SoaR should take advantage of that experience gap and start forcing out the Fire Giant. They were winning that last team fight very convincingly, so if they could just group up, look for some of these aggressive sentry wards, they could look for some picks as well, because they have some good initiations between the Odin ultimate and as well as DoctorL being able to really find the knock up the root. Could set up the meatball as well.
And that was that fight that we just witnessed that led to SoaR getting that tier 2 tower and the Gold Fury was a 4v5. DoctorL got picked off at the beginning. Now SoaR wants to look at the Fire Giant. They're pulling it. DoctorL doing his best to zone everyone away. It is getting low. Uzzy does have the Wrath available. Is he going to be able to steal it? No, it goes the way of SoaR Gaming. CaMeRxN's the focus in the back line. Tries to get the rewind off, but not in time. But all the while, the rest of SoaR is steamrolling SoaR on the back end. Brochacho falls. SoaR falls as well. 2 for 1. Stormy's going to fall as well. 4 members, excuse me, have the Fire Giant, and they're looking strong.
And that's exactly what happens when you dive the backline so strongly the way Chapo did. Now trying to teleport away. A great recognition. The meatball was not on the marks, able to save himself for now. So 3-member sacrifice. Fire Giant goes in the way of SoaR. And because of the dive coming from Chapo and Uzzy, it left their backline completely exposed. It was all up to Brochacho to try to use his root, use his stun to be able to save SoaR and StormyRays, and that wasn't enough.
I really would have liked to see a shell here for Brochacho. I like the Phantom pickup at the first relic, but going for the sprint, you already have a sprint built into your kit as Terra. I think the shell would have really helped SoaR and StormyRays stay alive in that Odin cage, as well as himself. Just a huge team fight relic that you see a lot of supports on both the PC and the console really favor, but instead Brochacho wanted that extra mobility, also to counter that weakening curse. If you don't have sprint up against weakening curse, it does get a little bit tricky, but overall, what do you think would have been better here?
And like even Meditate would have been better here, because like we mentioned with the sprint, you have Habwa Water Carpet, right? You can use that to your advantage. You don't always have to get that much more mobility. You have your carpet, you have the Terra's Blessing, you have you need more protections, you need more healing coming online. And I like the fact that he went for the Lotus Crown, trying to get more protections during the Monolith sieges, which is definitely going to help out. But because of how far behind SoaR is, there's not going to be any sieges from them coming back anytime soon. They're the ones that have to defend.
That's right, and the Lotus Crown doesn't do a whole lot for you when you're using that Monolith aggressively to try to root the enemy team during their siege. So still no level 20s on the side of SoaR, a bunch of 19s and 18s, but for Aware, it's only Kenshin, and he's level 18. I mean, he's 4 levels up right now on Brochacho, full build as the support. It's really only Cameron who isn't full build for Aware right now. It is Boronic waiting on that Soul Reaver, but he's still doing plenty of damage without it.
It's looking like very troublesome for SoaR, as they're going to have to find a way to really defend this first Phoenix siege coming out of Aware. They're all trickling down the middle and the left-hand side, splitting up the jungle as well as they drop a sentry ward. Going to get cut out a little bit as DoctorL, but with that Fire Giant buff as well as his self-sustain off of his passive, he should be fine.
Shaliber, what is he doing? Just dies for free. The 20th kill goes the way of Nemesis, and this left-hand Phoenix is already dead. Stormy forced into this apparate. Looks like he may have immune the Nemesis ult, but it doesn't even matter. He's already dead. The Vulcan ult into the fountain puts Brochacho low, or Chapo low. He goes up into the sky. Here comes the washing machine, throws 2 back. Brochacho's gonna fall here. This is gonna be a 2-0 for Aware.
Oh my goodness, KhaoticPurpose has just been on point the whole set, making himself known for 21 kills with only 2 deaths. And now Chapo trying to do what he can to defend the Titan, but it's not enough. Aware walk away with this one so cleanly.
So now SoaR in a tough spot. They need some help from Eager. They need Eager to not get 2-0'd up against Elevate. They need Eager to find at least 1 win going forward. And then not only do they need that, but they need to bounce back from a tough set like this and win 2-0 against Elevate later today. That's their only option to make land, is a 2-0 against Elevate.
But SoaR's been around the block. Tell me about their mentality after such a loss from Aware. You've been with Chapo and Brochacho. Yeah. How do you think they're feeling after that one?
They're probably not feeling too good, to be honest with you, but it's going to be Brochacho as the voice of hope, saying, that's all right, guys, we still have our opportunity. Elevate is, Aware is the number 3 seed for a reason. They've had a really good split so far. Let's just focus up, forget about that last game, and you mentioned it. A lot of these guys have been around the block multiple times. Uzzy's been to a ton of lands. Brochacho and Chapo have been around the scene forever. These guys will be able to keep them focused and look to get them back on track up against Elevate later today.
Sometimes you just got to swipe things under the rug. It was all ChaoticPurpose that last game around, playing the Nemesis, making such a huge impact. I think he ended the game at 21 kills and only 2 deaths, just been all over the place.
Yeah,
able to find so many kills.
So many kills. Near the top of the damage charts, you saw that he actually didn't even get the ultimate off in that last engagement, but just the amount of damage that he could put out didn't even matter. All over the map, a lot of delayed triple kills, things of that nature. And it just was SoaR not doing a good enough job respecting the Nemesis damage. Normally, she's kind of the setup god, using that ultimate to strip away protections, but in this game, it was all damage coming out of Nemesis.
It just seemed that they left Shaliber alone a little bit too much. There was a gank opportunity in the solo lane when Chapo tried to find the kill onto DoctorL, and then there was a speed buff invade where Shaliber was kind of left behind as a result, but overall, it was great plays from Shaliber as well. He did find a little bit of kills in the jungle side.
It was very hit or miss. There you saw the perfect bird bomb to save Shaliber's life by Chapo, and very hit or miss for Shaliber. Had a couple really big plays with knockups and crushing waves, deleting people, and then some really questionable positioning towards the late game. And even in that first game, going off by himself by the Fire Giant, that when that ult kind of spiraled out of control. Overall, still some question marks in the mid lane for SoaR.
Unfortunately, but we're going to see them again in set number 4 later on today. Up next, though, we're going to have Eager against Elevate after this break.
They scream that only I'll be saved. They toss off the line, but I just let it flow away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. Float away, float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. to how to breathe.